Kids growing up who are scared to come out, who are dealing with the same stuff that I did, and they're hearing you not do a thing. You do realize that your silence speaks volumes. What are you afraid of, Josh? Why are you afraid of me?
Members of Lafayette's LGBTQ community continued their calls for Mayor-President Josh Guillory to declare Pride Month in Lafayette. Members of the Lafayette chapter of PFLAG and their allies spoke during the public comments portion of last night's Lafayette Parish Council meeting. PFLAG President Matthew Humphrey accused Guillory of playing politics instead of backing his constituents.
You said you didn't feel as though ceremonial recognition of our group was the role of government, and you've done it dozens of times since you took office. And so I ask, what are you afraid of? Physically, it's a piece of paper and a handshake with me in front of cameras. I understand it'll cost you politically, but you have a lot of time before re-election, Josh, and we know that's what it's about.
Humphrey and the speakers argued that the Pride Month declaration would help children who are struggling to get acceptance from their friends and family see that there are other people like them who will support them. For all of those speakers, including a veteran, acceptance is something they still seek.
My dad beat the life out of me when he found a note that a girl had written to me, because that was going to be my first girlfriend, and she was so welcoming to me and everything and whatever, but when he found this note, he beat the shit out of me.
Kayshawn Coleman was 16 when her father beat her. A few years later, Coleman joined the Navy during the height of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
There were a lot of my friends that I made in the military that we found a bond because we were all gay and we couldn't tell anybody. We had to find our own special spots to go, and they didn't have the American Military Association like they do right now. It was, if we find out, no benefits, no anything.
Coleman moved to Lafayette 15 years ago after leaving the armed forces. Coleman says it's a shame Lafayette doesn't recognize Pride Month or the LGBTQ community's contributions.
I have to go somewhere else to be with a group of friends that I love dearly in order to be able to celebrate Pride instead of my own city. And I don't think that's right.
Coleman knows LGBTQ children and teens still have the same struggles she faced. She has this message for families of those children.
Love them. That's all that they're looking for. They're looking for the unconditional love that they don't necessarily feel from themselves. They already feel strange in their own skin, and they don't want to feel that. And it starts at home.
Coleman has an interesting story about her time growing up, about her time in the military, as well as more advice to families with LGBTQ children and teens. We'll have that full interview at KPEL965.com in just a few minutes. We will warn you, though, that there is some language that may be offensive to some in that raw audio. So will Mayor-President Josh Guillory sign a proclamation declaring Pride Month in Lafayette? It doesn't seem likely. When asked, Guillory replied by saying, quote, "We're all God's children," end quote. He followed up by saying LCG will defend the rights of all Lafayette residents with or without a Pride Month proclamation.
I don't have anything against Pride Month. If someone wants to have Pride Month, they have Pride Month. And what I will say, though, is certain proclamations, because one of the speakers, and I appreciate they came over here, one of the speakers mentioned that, whether we issue a proclamation or not doesn't change anything. But as a local government, we have to make sure that we don't do anything that is needlessly provocative. And, some people take what I just said and interpret a certain way, but I've been very clear. I support equality. I do not believe that the government should infringe on anybody's right or discriminate based on your sexual orientation. I've always had that stance. I've been a warrior for equality. My record shows that both before I was a mayor-president and as a mayor-president. We will not tolerate discrimination based on sexual orientation, your race, your gender, or any of the other protected classes by our law.